What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the quarantine zone again. And this time we return with Joe of DED. Great to be able to talk with you again, man.
Oh, bro. Morning.
Yeah,
Or
good.
good afternoon. No, for me, it's morning, but
Yeah, it's 4 in the afternoon here. I'm about to leave the
oh, yeah.
office, but
Yeah. Two where I am, so it's, yeah, still anyway. I
yeah,
was up, but
yeah. But it's great to be able to talk to you in person because last time when I spoke to you, had a old piece of crap computer that couldn't even handle Zoom. So it's great to finally have the visual now.
oh, yeah, you upgraded right on. Cool.
Yeah. But and you guys also upgraded as well because we got a brand new Dead album coming out, School of Thought. Was the direct intention just to make a continuation or pick up where you left off after Misanthrope, or did maybe like writing this in the times that we're living in almost kind of create like a whole new game plan for Dead?
Wow. Well, it wasn't a continuation of Misanthrope. I guess in a sense, everybody's albums are continuations in a sense. I mean, it's just the next part of your journey. We wrote and recorded the album right, finished it right before all the quarantine stuff, and then so we just kind of held on to it, didn't release it, at the time. So it wasn't affected by COVID or anything like that. It was kind of like it was happening. It happened before all that happened. So no, I wouldn't say it's a continuation of the first album, but in a way it is, just because it's the same band. But it's I think we pushed the boundaries out a little bit more from what we did on the first album. I think there's a little bit more wide spectrum of influences on this one. So yeah, man, I'm so stoked for it to come out.
Do you think that the first four singles that you released off of this album maybe serve as a clear representation of what the entirety of the album is going to sound like, or is that just the tip of the iceberg and there's a lot more to be discovered?
Right. I think those are insights. I'm trying to think: Mannequin Idol, Ice on Shut, Parasite. It's those are kind of a nice mix of stuff. Yeah, I think those could kind of give you a vibe of the album, but there's definitely more than those. I think each song kind of has a little bit of its own identity this time around. So I mean, I think it gives you a vibe, but I think that there's a lot more to offer for sure from the album. It's hard to, you know, talk about your own stuff. You think about it one way and whatever, and art's interpreted like that. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of an insight, but I think there's a lot more to
Yeah.
come.
You're damned if you do and damned if you don't with any answer you give. If you say, yeah, it's a great representation, people are like, oh, so every song sounds the same, huh? And then if you say, oh, it's just the tip of the iceberg, be like, well, what are you doing? Are you just making every song different? So, like,
Right.
yeah, I think
Right.
if you would have said yes, I thought that would have been great because these are four very strong singles, and I've heard the album, so I think every song is single worthy on it.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Do you ever enter the songwriting process with like a preconceived idea, like let's make the album sound like this, or is there a lot of like trial and error and like rolling the dice, if you will?
A mix of things, actually, because sometimes you'll be like, let's try to write a vibe like this. And then by the time you're writing it, it doesn't sound anything like what you're trying to write it like, because it's kind of coming through your filter. You know what I mean? Let's say like you're trying to write a song and you're like, I really vibing on this kind of groove from this band or whatever. Let's try to vibe with that. And oftentimes when you do that, it doesn't sound anything like that anymore. It sounds like you just writing a song, So, and then there's a lot of times where it's like, yo, just throw something out, and somebody will write something and it'll give me a vibe, and I'll be like, I'm kind of feeling like this, like, oh, that's not what I had in mind at all. But it's so cool, like that's kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about. Like everything's so interpretive, and I can hear something and think, oh, this sounds like this, and this, and someone else, this sounds like this. So the only true idea or directive behind it is to just write something good. I mean, that's it. It's just write something that we all look around the room and go, yeah, I'm feeling it. If ever you look around the room and everybody's feeling it, that's four or five human beings feeling the same music, and that's a good sign. That's what I always look for.
Well, the first time I saw you was in 2018 on the tour you did with Bless the Fall at a Gramercy Theater. Great show, by the way. That's where I first discovered Dead. First, knew who you are, and the first thing I thought of was all of these members definitely have different inspirations, and I could tell that you like that. And is that a fair assumption to make? Because when I listen to the music, I mean, I see elements of all types in there that could appeal to multiple audiences.
Yeah. I mean, we all have different influences, and we all have similar. They cross over into each other. But I think the real thing that when it comes together, yeah, that's what makes Dead, I guess, is like everybody kind of doing their own thing, but bringing it in with a common goal in mind, and that common goal is just to write good music, write good songs. And the song is more important than any one part. You know what I mean? The whole is more important than if I really want it to be like this or whatever. Whatever ends up being the best is most important. It's about the songs.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it should be about. Because
Yeah.
if like sometimes people focus too much on the meaning of a song or one specific guitar solo, you don't want the whole song to suffer just to make one good part.
Totally. Yeah. Not, and then one good part isn't enough for a song either. We would scrap that real quick.
Yeah, I believe I talked about this with you last time, but in terms of being a vocalist, has there ever been a time where like a lyrical concept could maybe dictate the direction of the sound in a way, or have you always needed the music before you could think of any lyrical ideas?
No, that definitely happens. I've written so many songs in my life now, and I write with other bands too and stuff. But all things. And I mean, there's definitely been times where a lyric or a phrase or a melody comes first, and then you write the music around that. I've definitely done that many times. So there's no one way, and if you have a lyric that's something aggressive, the song's gonna probably be aggressive, or if that, you know what I mean, or if it's like kind of more emotional, maybe the song, you know what I mean. So, but then sometimes I really do enjoy contrasting things. Like some dark lyrics with like a pretty song is really cool, or like that like I think like Alkaline Trio or Saves the Day are probably some of the best at that, that kind of thing. I love that kind of stuff. So I don't know. There's a nice mix of different things, and there's no one way, man. There's no one way. It's like writing a song is like eating a Reese's, I guess.
Wow, that could be a line right there. That
Yeah.
you should save that line you just said and make that the introduction to a song and just kick in with the most brutal breakdown that there is.
Right. Just go heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
No wrong way.
Reese's core. Reese's core.
Or no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Just some school of thought. See what I did there.
Nice. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I'd imagine too, as a vocalist too, when it comes to thinking of those lines, do you sometimes think of like the best lines or like inspiration just strikes at like the most inconvenient times as well?
Sure. Yeah. Be in the grocery store, and you got to pull out your phone and throw it in your voice memo. I know everybody does that. You got to throw it in your voice memo, or you could be, anywhere. Yeah, it's weird sometimes where it comes to you, and usually it comes to you from a place of no mind. You're not. Sometimes you're not like focusing. Sometimes when you're sitting there focusing, like I want to write a song right now. I'm sitting down. I've allocated, an hour and a half or 2 hours this afternoon. I'm going to write a song about something. Sometimes that's the worst thing to do. Sometimes it's best when you're not even thinking about it, and that's when the good stuff comes to you. I think when you're not using that thinking mind, the canvas is more open for your soul's thoughts to really come through, your real true thoughts. Because your brain's usually thinking about some bullshit, worry or life. Your soul's usually just always thinking about the real stuff.
Yeah, and when you like cultivate those hours to like think of ideas, like I want to write a song, but you can't get anything out, but you feel that creative energy. Do you maybe like utilize it in another medium or like find another way to express it so that energy doesn't go to waste?
No, because to me it's a flip. Like if you are sitting there trying to force something, forcing anything is usually never good. Forcing anything. So if you're trying to force music, it's usually no good. When that energy hits you, and for me, a lot of times it's real late at night. There's a warmth with it. I usually get kind of hot. I start walking around in circles. I get real excited. I got, like I got the song. I'm singing it in my head. I'm working it out. It's like I got a machine in my head. I can hear everything. I can hear the guitars, the drums, the groove, the vocals. When that energy hits me, then I stop everything and I go, okay, well, I'm in this now. Trying to force it, I never do that. Like if it's not working, if it's just not right, I just set it down. I get out of there. It's all good.
Do you find it maybe sometimes easier, or it's either maybe easier or flat out impossible to maybe be in the company of other bandmates to cultivate ideas, or do you have to be alone in order to let ideas sort of flow?
No, I think it's cool both ways. Yeah, sometimes it'll be with other guys. Especially when they send me a piece of music, like that. That's always cool. I do enjoy, maybe that's just my comfort zone though, because then, I've written songs with producers and things and different people where it's kind of on the spot. And I'm a little uncomfortable doing that just because, there's something about working on music by yourself in the safety of like room or I like to write a lot, just like driving around, listening to music super loud, just singing, there's a freedom in that. So there is no like right or wrong way. And even if I prefer something, it doesn't matter because sometimes I might get something better the other way. So I usually try to just be open to whatever's happening, and just kind of flow with it.
Yeah, and I've not only have seen you play with a variety of different bands, but I've also seen you play at a variety of different settings. Like I saw you at Gramercy Theater, which it's a nice, small, little, intimate venue. But then, like I've also seen you at like a festival, like Louder Than Life in 2019, and I know you've done a handful of festivals this year. Do you almost feel like maybe the song translates depending on the atmosphere that you're singing it to? Like, do you maybe adjust your set list depending on not just the bands you're touring with, but maybe the atmosphere as well?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess we've done that before. I don't know. I think we usually just the songs seems to exist fine in multiple settings. Usually we've changed it here and there. For certain things. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a lot of shows now.
Yeah.
But I think they translate just fine. In festivals and in clubs or theaters. I don't think we change it up too much. We usually just kind of go like, let's just do our thing.
Yeah, you just have to run around a lot more on a bigger stage.
Yeah, you just get a lot more of that. Yeah, you get a little more tired. You get a lot more of that craziness. We just did Aftershock last weekend. It was killer. It was crazy.
Yeah, I was looking at pictures. It was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Do you almost feel like you have to practice crowd interaction or stage presence just as much as it like you have to practice the material in itself, or can you not practice that?
Well, one could. I don't. I like to be in that moment. I like to just kind of let myself do whatever I do, which most of the time works out. Sometimes it's not the best thing. I've misspoken before, said stupid stuff, that whatever. But I like it to be a little like unique to that moment. Whoever's at that show, whoever's there, that's what I'm going to say in that space and time. That's a special thing for whoever's there. Me and that however many people, or me and the guys and that however many people. So I don't really prepare what I'm going to say. As you go into a tour, though, you get into a rhythm, and you say similar things between songs. You know what I mean? And that just organically kind of happens. It's just part of it. So.
Yeah, and and when shows started happening again, I was wondering what are the bands going to say in between songs now. I know a lot of people are going to pay tribute to the year and a half that we lost. So
totally.
Yeah.
That's a high moment. I mean, to say that, because you really feel that at a show. You really feel like, oh, this is so nice, man. You really do. You feel the excitement from the people. You're excited yourself. There's a difference. There's something unique than the last time we played shows. Having that time off. I think every band on this tour, a lot of the bands I saw at the festival, we're grateful to be back doing what we want to do, and that we've worked our lives to do. To have that taken away from you, if everybody, and I'm not saying we had it the worst, musicians, we didn't have it the worst. Some of us had a hard time, some of us didn't. But to have your passion and your career, if someone came and took your passion and your job away from you at the same time, let's say you love football, nope, no more football, and you can't work at wherever the hell you work,
Yeah.
Those are pretty important things. And as humans, we have identities, whether we should or we shouldn't. We hold our identities and we hold them pretty close to our egos usually, and it's really hard to feel like your identity is wishy-washy and not where it should be, or how you feel like it should be. So I don't know, I'm rambling now, but
you ramble all you like.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, I did want to ask this question. This is the first time I'm asking it, so you're kind of my guinea pig now asking this
oh,
question.
all right,
But
let's do it.
when I see an artist, convey a message and deliver an aspiring moment, I'm very, I think it's great when an artist connects with people by all means. But when I do see an artist say it at every show, because I've seen bands on the same tour, like at multiple dates and stuff like that, and I've seen, bands do it on multiple. Do you feel like that sometimes the message loses meaning the more you convey it?
Mm, I wouldn't say that because it's every time you're saying it, it's in a new environment, it's new people, they're reacting differently. Um, I don't know. That's hard. Because I do say the same kind of things here and there, and then I mix it up. I throw some other random stuff in. But if something's potent and something's important to say, you want to say it to more than one group of people. You want everybody to feel that, and if it resonated with people, then it's going to resonate with more people. So, I think you say it a little bit differently with different. You're not running through the motions. I wouldn't call it like running through the motions at all. I would just say it's just like part of it. It's like when I'm singing a song I've sung 1,000 times, it doesn't feel any less important to sing that song. It's still conveying thoughts and feelings through words.
That's a great way of putting it. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm not going to mention who or what or even if I have seen it, but I'd imagine sometimes like how many times have we seen like a band give like a great emotional speech, but it's just choreography at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that, and that's you got your bullshit radar on, kind of. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Sometimes people do it like that. But then I've been on tours, and I've also been to multiple dates of tours. And like I was saying, that speech can be just as powerful as anything. It's, like I said, it's a performance. It's part of the performance. And it's words and it's feeling and it's emotion. And whether it's screamed or sung or talked, it can be just as impactful one night to the next, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you can feel when someone's honing it. It's usually the artist. I wouldn't say it's usually the words or the speech. I think it's the person. And if they're phoning it in, you can feel their soul,
Excellent point. And
Yeah.
This is the first time I asked this, and I don't think it's going to be the last. Thanks for being the guinea pig in that question.
Yeah. No problem, man. It's just, it's real shit. It's all good.
And the final question I wanted to ask you is one little fun question. Before we started talking both times, we have a mutual friend in Troy Germano at Germano Studios, and I know that you did a performance there for Octane like a couple years ago. And I just wanted to give a shout out. He sponsors the show as well. But like, what was the experience like doing like a performance at Germano Studios? It's a great place.
Man, and I'm from Phoenix, so I don't know, all the legendary, stuff in New York City. But when we were there, we rolled in there. I mean, that place was so dope. The setup in there was cool. The aesthetic was so cool. And then as we were walking around, looking at all the records, the work that was done there, that energy really, it's cool. The energy flows into you. It's like even though a lot of those people are still alive, it feels like the ghosts of those albums or those songs are in there, and you harness it. I do that with every studio I go to. You know what I mean? It was such a cool spot. It felt so, I don't know, we're giddy, man. We're stoked, when you go into a place like that, you, like I said, you just harness that energy, and I loved it. I'd love to go back there again sometime.
Yeah, the ghosts that you were talking about, they were all watching you perform. No pressure.
Exactly. No, I feel like they're on my team. You know what I mean? That's how I look.
Awesome. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Great to be able to talk with you again. Is there just anything else with Dead that you would like to promote with the release of School of Thought? When this bullshit virus that shall not be named is finally behind us, I'd imagine we'll be seeing you on the road relentlessly, right?
Yeah. Just like the first album, we're gonna just go hard at it again. We're out with Black Folk Rising in this moment right now. We still got another over a month. This is like a 2-month tour. It's pretty long. And then we got a Virago's cruise coming up, the Danny Wimmer cruise with Mastodon and Bane and Rob Zombie and stuff. So, hold on. So, I just got a phone call. All right, messing me up. And then there's going to be a bunch of tours and stuff. Yeah, we'll be getting back into it for sure. So those are just the only things that are on the books right now. So staying busy.
Just come back to New York City when you can, please.
Yeah, no doubt, 100%. Love it
Awesome.
there.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Joe of DED. Be sure to check out School of Thought. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.
Glad, brother. Appreciate you.